Drake May and the Patriots are 5.5-point favorites against the Broncos. Are you surprised by that?
No. I mean, some people think they should be greater favorites because of Stidham. Look, I think this is still going to be a tough game. It will be a horrific loss for the Patriots. But I can see a way that Denver beats them. I mean, they got a great defense. We know that. May, as coaches said yesterday, has been getting sacked a lot. He's been sacked 10 times in 2 playoff games. They lead the league in sacks with 68. He's been sloppy with the football, Drake May. So if Stidham can just not have a lot of turnovers and play decent, Denver's got a chance. Again, New England should win this game, but I think it's going to be a lot tougher than people just expect based on Jarrett Stidham. So, no, I think 5.5 is pretty fair. Denver also is 8-1 at home, which is the best record in the league. So I expect right now I feel like New England's going to win, but I don't think it's going to be an easy game.
Yeah, if we use C.J. Stroud as the bar for quarterback performance, the Texans now
can't be worse.
Well, yeah, the Texans were less than a touchdown down to start the fourth quarter. And this is a very similar situation with Denver in terms of what they can do defensively and the volume of sacks that they have, and the fact that May is not just getting sacked at a higher rate, he's getting sacked at double the rate that he got sacked at in the regular season. That to me is a real problem. And the idea that they're 5.5-point favorites, Denver lost 1 game, and I get it, Knicks isn't there, but they only lost 1 game. It's a really difficult environment to play in. Drake May hasn't played a playoff game on the road, and that noise is significant with the silent count, with the communication, with making checks, checking out of things. Everything becomes hand signals. There's a lot of things that go into that. And here's the other thing I'll say about Stidham is obviously Sean Payton felt very strongly about him. He was a day 1 pickup for him. Josh McDaniels felt very strongly about him because he traded for him when he was the head coach of the Raiders. So there's 2 guys that are accomplished offensive coaches who feel like he could be a starter and very successful. And the last thing is sometimes a backup quarterback, you don't want to have it in this situation, obviously, but it's hard for defenses because you don't totally know what you're going to get. You don't have the same bead on that guy as you had in the other guys. How is he going to escape? How often is he going to run with the ball? What are his best throws? Like some of those things, you'd like to have more information on the quarterback than less.
Here comes Mr. Favorite, Stanley Parkins.
No.
Oh.
No, you're misreading me. All year we can question how good Bo Nix is, how much of Denver's success is because of Bo Nix.
This is correct.
Like all year. They didn't lose Josh Allen. they didn't lose Lamar Jackson. They didn't lose.
He played very well in that playoff game, though.
He did, but odds
Obviously
are set based on a large body of work and a large sample and expected performance. Like Bo Nix is, I know Broncos fans would say he's a top 10 quarterback, but I think most people would have Bo Nix outside of the top 10 quarterbacks in the NFL. So if a middle third quarterback gets injured and then a top third backup quarterback, just based on number of times he's signed, the offensive coaches who have vouched for him, the
fact that he's been in the league this long. It's better than, I understand what you're saying. He's not a rookie backup quarterback. Correct. It's a guy who at least has experience.
Exactly. Like it is obviously a drop-off, and it's obviously a huge blow to Denver, and the line would not be this if Bo Nix was starting. I'm not dismissing any of that, but this is not. The Broncos have not been Bo Nix dependent.
So that I think is the key point. So I want to say this while on the front end saying, I thought Bo Nix, of the 8 quarterbacks that played this weekend, you said it, Brew, and I agree with you 100%. I thought he played the best. I thought Bo Nix was awesome at the end of the first half when they were trying. I thought maybe to steal 3 points, and they ended up getting a touchdown. Talking about before Josh's fumble, and obviously at the end of the game. And I didn't hate the fact that it seemed like in overtime they were like, why don't we chuck it deep? He's not going to throw a pick, and maybe we'll draw a PI. And they were able to do that. So I want to give Bo Nix credit, and I obviously, had he not been injured, coming off that game, you feel very differently about the Broncos. But over the course of the season, we watched the Broncos 7 times win games with quarterback play about the level I expect they can get from Stidham this week. You know, it was one of the reasons I didn't believe in them going into the Bills game, because I thought they were going to get that level of quarterback play against what I thought would be an explosive Bills offense. I think that if Stidham can just be 160 yards on 17 of 30 with no turnovers, I do give the Broncos a real shot, not just to cover this number, but to turn the Patriots over and to put them in an adverse position. And so if I were, and again, I've been ice cold these playoffs, but if I were betting this game right now, I'd take the 5.5. Like, I understand there's a scenario where a quarter and a half into it, we're like, okay, Jared Stidham, there's a reason you have 3 career starts and it's the AFC Championship game. But there's also a scenario where a quarter and a half into the game, it feels like a lot of Broncos games in the regular season, where the offense protects the ball, doesn't do much explosive, and the defense is getting after you. And I think your point about May having not played a road playoff game, and his first one is to go to the Super Bowl at altitude in that stadium. If Will Campbell's already having a hard time, getting off on the pass rush, I think it's going to be even harder in that spot.
The one real strange stat with the Broncos, though, is as many sacks they've only turned the ball, had four fumble recoveries. They're 31st in the league in fumble recoveries.
They're due.
But it just doesn't make any sense at all with that volume of sacks to have that few fumbles and fumbles recovered.
Are you giving Darnold any chance at outplaying Stafford on Sunday?
Yeah, a small chance. He did not play well, obviously, against Seattle in their 2 matchups this year, right? It was
Who's he? We're talking.
Sam Darnold.
Oh, he didn't play well against the Rams.
Against the Rams. Did I say against Seattle?
Yeah. You're
Seattle's quarterback is Sam Darnold.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So Darnold did not play great against the Rams. 2 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. His passer rating wasn't good. He had the one game with all the turnovers. We know that. But I do think there's just a lot of other factors that are in Seattle's favor that he maybe doesn't need to. Like, it's not. I always say it's not one-on-one basketball between the quarterbacks. Like,
you really say that when it involves Herbert.
I do.
Like, it's the most. That's when we hear that.
You notice?
Yeah,
but honestly, like, they are at home. They have been playing really well. They are the healthier team. They had the bye, so in theory, they are the more rested.
They have the better defense right now, without question.
There's just a lot of other factors that even if Stafford has a touchdown or 2 more than Darnold can still be the guy who wins the game and goes to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, look, chances of Darnold outplaying Stafford are very slim, but he doesn't have to your point. He didn't outplay him when they beat him 38-37 in overtime. He had 2 picks, 2 touchdowns. Stafford threw for 457 yards and 3 touchdowns and no pick. Stafford's probably, he doesn't throw many interceptions, so I don't see him just throwing 2-3 interceptions. So assuming he doesn't have that type of game, Stafford's going to outplay Darnold statistically because he has to. Like, he's thrown it 42 times on average in these 2 playoff games. I get it, it was a blowout, but Darnold threw it 17. Their success is just not based on Sam Darnold. If he doesn't make turnovers, maybe throws 1 touchdown and, has a solid game, they can win even if Stafford goes off. Now, if they get in a shootout and he really has to throw it a lot, Coach, then the chances of him making some interceptions and mistakes are more. But I still think the proof is in the 2 times they played this year. He was bad in the first game. They almost won. He was bad
good through 3 quarters.
Right, and it was right there, and then he turned it on. So he won't outplay Stafford, but he doesn't have to for Seattle to win.
Yeah, he wasn't bad in the first game. He was terrible. They had a 48 quarterback rating, and threw 4 touchdowns. And that was the game.
4 interceptions.
4 touchdowns would have been a miracle. That game when we were talking about it, we were talking about, okay, is this the moment that Sam Darnold performs in a big moment? Because it was to kind of take control of the division and the number 1 seed. And then we fast forward to the last game, and it's significantly better at the end. Obviously, still 2 touchdowns and 2 turnovers. You don't want the 2 turnovers, but it was better. So I'm really hoping that Sam Darnold can have a clean game and can get over this hump, because he's done such an amazing job redefining the narrative on him and changing everything from Minnesota to here. But it's just so hard for me to think that he's going to be able to outduel Stafford. But when I look at Stafford's 2 playoff games against 2 very mediocre defenses,
he hasn't been good yet.
Yeah.
He's not turned the ball. He's been good at keeping the ball clean last round, at least when everyone was turning the ball over. But he has not played his best
He's not played his best against 2 defenses that, and we talked about this yesterday, with the defenses that Drake May faced versus the defenses that Stafford faces. It's not even close.
So the argument for this is really a Seahawks defense argument. It's that Stafford is the one that has the multiple turnovers forced by the Seahawks defense, and Darnold outplays him by simply being the one who plays a clean game. You know, I don't think any. What?
457 yards.
Right.
0
No,
sacks.
I know. Well, that's in that game that they
37 points.
In that game that they lost, I thought that was the best quarterback performance of anyone all year. Stafford's game, 450 yards,
incredible.
3 touchdowns against this defense.
0 sacks.
Right. I thought it was the best game anybody's played at the quarterback position all year. It was also probably Stafford's last great game. You know what I mean? As far as down the stretch of the season. So in some ways, he's due for a great game. Here's why. And again, I preface it all with I've been ice cold these playoffs.
Yeah, you have.
After beating Danny in the regular season.
Marathon.
I don't think it's realistic, after seeing these 2 teams play for 8 quarters, that Seattle just controls the game and, you know what I mean, leads it from start to finish. I think that Seattle's best case scenario is this is a 4th quarter game. And man, in a 4th quarter game, I'm just going to trust Stafford. I think that Stafford with the he's been so great in the playoffs with the Rams. They've almost all been road games or neutral site games. One in the Super Bowl and one last year's first round was a weird neutral site game because of the LA wildfires. So he's used to playing away from home. He's played this defense and Mike McDonald's defense now 4 times in the last 2 years since he's been the head coach there. He's experienced with it, and he's coming off an amazing performance against them. So I think that the Rams beat the Seahawks because Stafford has another excellent game against this defense that nobody seems to be able to have great games against except him. Chiefs bring back Eric Bieniemy. He's the offensive coordinator. All he did in his time in Kansas City was go to 3 Super Bowls, win 2. Leading offense, led the league in scoring a bunch of times, won the MVP a couple times. Last couple of years with Commanders and UCLA. Last year, Bears running game coordinator. Oh my, what was the best thing about the Bears other than Caleb 4th downs? The running game? Brew?
Turnovers.
I'm talking about their offense, Coach.
That's the best thing about the Bears.
Bears offense, I said. I thought. Brew, you've been asking for this.
Yes.
How much do you like this reunion? You're taking credit?
Chiefs, you're welcome. Chiefs Kingdom, you're welcome. Let me know about it next time I'm there. I love it. I was calling for it. I didn't think it would happen, just because it's unusual a lot of times to bring a guy back. But I'm glad they did. And I think we have a graphic showing the difference in Mahomes' numbers. His first 5 years as a starter with Bieniemy, his last 3 have not been. I mean, the difference, obviously, he's still been great. He won a Super Bowl and got to another one without Bieniemy. But look at the individual numbers across the board, far better with Bieniemy. And I just think this is a great hire, for the Chiefs. And hopefully it'll bring Mahomes back to the numbers statistically where he used to be in the early part of his career.
So the numbers are undeniable. Right, I have one too, just with ranks, because it puts what you just did basically into context.
Yeah.
First across the board, right, with Eric Bieniemy on the left. But there's also Tyreek Hill and.
Well, the last year with Bieniemy was not Tyreek Hill.
No doubt, but just the 5-year
Right.
run that he was there. My only issue with this, because Bears people told me that they loved him too. Eric Bieniemy is a tough coach. He coaches stars hard. He's big on accountability, hard practices, should help the Chiefs' running game. Million reasons to like it. The only thing is, it felt to me like the Chiefs' offense needed something new. Like the modernization of Andy Reid's offense.
You don't think he could have taken anything from his time with Ben Johnson?
he could have.
I mean, that's kind of my hope, is that that he did glean some things from a year with Ben Johnson, from being elsewhere, that he can then import over.
I mean, listen, that is the glass half full version of it, but it's not his system. So yeah, maybe he learned something from Ben Johnson that he brings in, but Andy Reid had Matt Nagy, lost Matt Nagy, brought Matt Nagy back. Then he had Eric Bieniemy, loses Eric Bieniemy, brings Eric Bieniemy back. Like, he's very loyal to his guys. The Andy Reid tree, like at one point, 25% of the coaches in the NFL were Andy Reid assistants and disciples. So like, I would have liked to see him go outside of the circle of trust.
Yeah, no, that's not a good idea.
Okay.
So Josh,
all coaches agree with you, but, you know, hire Mike McDaniel.
Josh McDaniels has been the offensive coordinator in New England 3 different times. And I understand what you're saying about getting new blood, but for Andy at this point in his career, to be able to bring Eric back in, that's going to free up some things for Andy. And then he'll be able to, he's got an absolute comfort level with him, so he can be even more global if he wants to. The other thing is Patrick must have signed off on this. There's no way he's coming back without Patrick signing off. So to get the most important player to want you back, that's huge as well. The third part of this, there's no learning curve. So as much as you want to bring something new, and he will because he's been different places, he doesn't have to relearn how you run OTAs, how you run minicamp, how you run, what the operation is during the season, the things that Patrick Mahomes likes. Those shared reps that you have are so valuable because it saves time that you can then distribute somewhere else. So to be able to bring him back into the building, be highly regarded by the head coach, be highly regarded by the most important player, and then not skip a beat with scheme or operation, I think it's a home run.
So I want to say something to Chiefs fans in general, because the level of skepticism and outright, I think, dismissiveness towards Andy Reid, inarguably one of the 6 greatest coaches in NFL history, arguably the greatest offensive coach in NFL history, and the greatest coach in Chiefs history by a mile. Yeah. That after going to 3 straight Super Bowls and being there 5 out of 6 years, the fact that they weren't able to do something only one team ever had done, which is go to 4 straight, the fact that they finally had a down year and everything broke down at once, meant Andy Reid doesn't know what he's doing anymore. That discourse has been categorically insane to me. I understand the theoretical idea of, man, what if you were able to marry Mike McDaniel's innovation and running game with Andy Reid's offense? But they're different systems and different offenses. And so if people are, the Chiefs are going to run Andy Reid's offense. They are. And you know what? I'm good with it. It led to the greatest success any team's ever had other than the Patriots, and some of the greatest offensive years ever. I think the idea that you are going to get nothing new from Eric Bieniemy, even if that's the case, if he just brings back what he had before, I think it's a net positive for what they were getting from Matt Nagy. And I do think Eric Bieniemy, clearly, part of what I think makes him a great coordinator and great as far as motivation has made him a tough, bad interview. I think that the gruffness, the holding people accountable, I think that has put a ceiling on where he can be as a coach in this league. It's why he never has gotten a real shot at being a head coach. But I do think he probably learned things from Ben Johnson. And I like the fact that Kyle Monangai was a 7th-round pick and was awesome this year. Like, I think the Chiefs' running game needs a real overhaul, and I think he'll be good at that.
And every offseason, it's not like coaches just are like, okay, put the playbook away, we'll get it out back in May when we get OTA. Like, you spend a lot of time going through what's been the most successful thing in college football, what's been the most successful thing in pro football. You try to incorporate those concepts into your system within your terminology. So, and it's nice to have Eric back where he's been other places and he can infuse some of those ideas. But people don't, outside of the draft and free agency, they're working on scheme and trying to stay, ahead of the curve.
All right, there have been 3 head coaches hired that we haven't discussed much, so we'll try to get to all of them here quickly. Falcons hire 2-time Coach of the Year, 2-time playoff participant, Kevin Stefanski. Was in Cleveland for the last 6 years. Went 5-12 last year. Danny, you love offensive play calling coaches. Now, you like them to be a little younger than Kevin Stefanski and less proven. Do you like this? Little too
I buy stock low and sell high.
Do you like this hire for Atlanta?
I own all the Ben Johnson stock. Yeah, I love it. And I'm wondering if Kevin Stefanski wished that he would have held out a little bit, because I think he would have been a great hire in Buffalo. Imagine you're Kevin Stefanski and you're an offensive coach and you're a play caller, and you get to go from what you've had in Cleveland and playing in that division and playing in those conditions, and now you get to go to a dome and a softer division where you play road games in warm weather climates, you play road games in a dome, and you have Bijan Robinson and Drake London and some of the talent that they've added. Now, obviously, huge quarterback questions.
Just got to trade for Dylan Gabriel. But he could be available.
But he's dealt with huge quarterback questions before without having that amount of talent. I thought this was an absolutely fantastic hire for the Falcons.
I agree. I love the hire. Look, Coach, you know how tough it is to win in Cleveland. Since they went back in 1999, the franchise, they have had 3 playoff years. Stefanski has 2 of them. They've had 2 11-win seasons. He has both of them. I actually was a little torn over what Cleveland should do with him. I get the way he handled Shedeur. I'm sure it wasn't all Stefanski's fault, but that was obviously awkward. So that's why apparently they moved on. But he's a good coach. Like, I think he's just what Atlanta needs. Again, I think he brings stability. I agree with you. I mean, I would like him in Buffalo. Now, I don't know if the fans, coming off some losing seasons in Cleveland, if they want that. But that's the question in the quarterback, and that was always the question for him in Cleveland. And it hasn't really been answered. But just giving him a decent quarterback for a little while, Joe Flacco, Baker early in his career, and he was able to make the playoffs. So if Penix can stay healthy, or if Cousins can have a couple of good seasons, then I think they could have success in that bad division.
Yeah, I don't like it. I love it. Love it.
I knew that was coming.
I got to work on my delivery.
You got to work on it a little, but it was like, I liked it.
It's your thing, so I don't want to totally. But so one of my favorite quarterback interviews, and we spend a lot of time when you're going through that process with the quarterbacks you could potentially draft, was Matt Ryan. I thought he was outstanding, smart, articulate. Had a great...
Matt Ryan might need to run for president. Everybody that talks about Matt Ryan's like, this guy.
He was awesome. He was awesome in the interview. So impressive, and I think that this job's not going to be too big for him. And I also think he looks like a guy who's going to be collaborative but yet still strong enough to make tough decisions. So I'm happy about that. And then with Kevin, I got to know him some while he was in Cleveland. Spent some time with him. He's another guy, really bright, collaborative, articulate, and to win 2-time Coach of the Year in Cleveland, that's a hard. I've been there. That's a hard sell. Okay, or that's a hard thing to accomplish. And you had 2 potential Hall of Fame coaches. You didn't have not only the best quarterback, you had the worst quarterback situation, and you're anchored down by Deshaun Watson. So there's that. And then bonus take, who did they hire today? Bill Callahan.
Oh, the offensive line coach. Oh, there you go.
I mean, that's such a good hire.
And
such a good hire.
Here's what they got to, I don't know if they're bringing back Kirk Cousins. I don't know what Penix's health is going to be. I would hope for Stefanski that he is going to be able to have some stability at quarterback at some point. Yeah. It's always been impossible for me to untangle how much of the Deshaun Watson trade contract, staying with him after it was very clear he didn't have it anymore, and then the mess at quarterback since him. How much of that was Kevin Stefanski? How much of that was Andrew Berry? How much of that was the owner? And now I think you're going to get to have a fresh look, a fair judgment of him, because I think the way Cleveland has handled quarterback for the entirety of his tenure was a disaster. Now, maybe none of it was on him. Moving on from Baker, all of that I think was a mess, but I don't know where to assign that blame. So you give him credit because of what he was able to do despite not having the quarterbacks, but how much say did he have in that? Now we're going to get a fair read on it. And like you said, a winnable division with
you
talent.
kind of know where to sign.
I have a feeling it's the owner. But I want to see it in this situation.
Well, owner, GA. I mean, there's a lot of people
it felt
above
to me
him.
like he was the least culpable, but I still want to see it. All right, let's quickly go to Tennessee. Big Bob Saleh has got another job. And listen, when he was with the Jets, they had an awesome defense, couldn't get the offense right. He goes to the Niners. I think he's certainly in the running for coordinator of the year, assistant coach of the year, whatever that award is called. Brew, the record with the Jets was grisly. It's 20-36. But, you know, there are only a select few coaches can have a winning season with the New York Jets. Brew, what do you think? Multiple winning seasons.
It's only been 50
Do you like
years.
this hire for Tennessee?
I hate to sit here and just applaud all these hires, but I think this is a good hire. I actually have questions about Saleh. Is it a great situation for him? Now, if he can go there and strengthen their defense, the question is just Cam Ward. Yep. We saw Saleh without a quarterback, and it wasn't pretty. All right, so if Cam Ward has really turned the corner, in the last 5 games, he had 8 touchdowns, 1 pick. His last 4 games, 3 times, he was well over 100 passer rate. So he showed some promise. So if Cam Ward is actually going to be a good quarterback, then I like this a lot more. So I'm going to give it a thumbs up and hope Cam Ward pans out.
Yeah, it's hard from a head coaching perspective. If you get an opportunity to be a head coach of a team, I mean, it's harder than being elected to Congress, you know. So, but rare, yeah, maybe not hard.
Yeah, no, I don't want someone to give you a hard time.
But so it's hard to turn those down because you have the bad season the next year, the ball doesn't bounce your way, and you may not get another shot for who knows how long. And the other thing is, as a coach, you fundamentally believe that whatever problems there are, you can fix it. But the Jets were dysfunctional, and now he's going to another organization that's rivaling the Jets in terms of dysfunction.
That's my worry, man. The ownership
and I don't
there
know
has
if
been
he can
a
overcome
mess.
it.
And
they
so
have
that
no talent.
Jeff Simmons is a great player. Cam Ward is a great prospect who is an unknown. And other than that, there's nobody. I worry about that exact same thing for him.
I think it's crazy.
For him or for the team?
For the team. Like Saleh's a good coach on the defensive side of the ball, and now you have entrusted Cam Ward's rookie contract to a non-offensive coach when you are going to need to really coach up that side of the ball to overachieve. I just think it's risky. The whole thing should be about maximizing Cam Ward.
Get the right coordinator.
This is a philosophical disagreement we don't have time to get into
Yeah,
here. Danny saw them hire Brian Callahan, that offensive wonderkind, and was like, run that back.
I didn't say to keep Callahan.
No, but the next offensive genius.
Right.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get more from the show and to check out clips from other shows on FS1.